Hi and welcome back. Today's topic is my personal experience breastfeeding from day one to done. Now it all began, almost 16 months ago when my firstborn was born. She was born in a hospital and when it came time for her to feed, she had a latch. I'll say she had a latch. She did not have a good latch, which I learned later, but she latched. And she was suckling and I was on cloud nine thinking, oh yes, here we are. I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm doing what all the research said and it's beautiful, right? Well, before I even checked out of the hospital, I was already in pain because that latch she had wasn't so good. I don't know if it was so much of her latch or just, I wasn't ready for all that dry, something went wrong and it was painful for a while. I remember coming home and feeling sore, and then it transitioned to feeling like I was on fire. I was so dry. Yes, it was chapped and dry and everything awful. And I would get real anxiety when it was time to feed her. I would cry myself when she would cry because I knew what she wanted. I couldn't wear anything, my bras hurt, my shirt hurt, the air hurt. Taking a shower was so painful. The water, not only the temperature, but I like water pressure strong, and that hurt. Trying to dodge the water, towel drying, even my hair, it was just very, very painful. And it seemed at the time that lasted forever, but when I look back, I know it was at least less than 6 weeks. Sorry if that seems like a long time. It may have been 2 weeks. I honestly don't remember, but I do know that at her 6-week checkup, or no, it was my 6-week checkup, she was fine because I nursed her there and it was fine. So it was a short period of time, which seemed like an eternity, because when you're in that amount of pain and your baby's eating every 2 hours or even more every day for weeks, that's not fun. So that's how it all started, but it got better, don't you worry. My husband was very helpful. He went out and I'll insert a clip or a link to it. It was some kind of natural cream that really helped. I didn't have anything. I was just planning on using coconut oil, which I probably did use, just didn't help enough. The combination of the right cream and working on the latch really helped. Once we fixed the pain, it was a pretty smooth journey. She was eating pretty regularly, scheduled. I remember looking back, I kept track, and I didn't do that forever, and I don't plan on doing that with my next one, but I used an app. I would write it down. She ate on this side for this many minutes, and at this time, and now I have to do it. That's helpful at first. You want some control over the situation and do what you have to do. But realistically, eventually I didn't know where my phone was, or I didn't have a pencil or a pen, and you just figure it out and it becomes way more natural. But at first I had to really put those little conveniences in place. I had to make it work for myself. We had a process at home where I would feed her, wake up my husband, he would change her and go back to bed and do that again. And the cycle for a newborn. Eventually she started eating less and less. It's hard to remember all the details. It's only been a year and a half almost, but it really did become natural. So coming from that really awful start to this ending that I'll get to, it's hard to believe that it was the same baby, I did have some, and I still do have some shyness when it comes to breastfeeding. If I'd have guests over, even if they were just my mom and my aunt or friends, I still go into the bedroom to nurse her. It's my house. I can do it wherever I want. I get it, but I just didn't feel comfortable. And I wasn't very smooth. I couldn't just discreetly get my breast ready for her to nurse on. It was I have to lift up my I was kind of clumsy, I guess. I'd lift up my whole shirt and this one and this, and it was just also she didn't like the nursing cover, so that was out of the picture, and everyone just said practice with it. But And I did a few times. I practiced in the backyard, I practiced in the living room, I just, you know, practice. But I also didn't really like it, you know, it wasn't trying to make something natural, and that did not feel natural. So in her early months, I did find myself kind of rushing out the door to the breastfeeding schedule because I didn't want to have to do it out at the stores or in the car, which I did do in the car a few times, maybe the dressing room once, but I tried to avoid that as much as I could just because I was a little uncomfortable, and I was much more comfortable doing it at home. Plus, we got into what I call a bad habit. I'll do a whole nother video about nursing to sleep and sleep training, but she would often fall asleep, which is perfectly normal and natural, I believe, and right after eating, but while I was still holding her on the breast pillow. So like we got into a bad habit of not putting her down. I say we, but it was me and her, not my husband. He probably was ready to put her down before I was. And then we switched roles and I was ready and he wasn't. So again, video to come later. But so those were kind of hiccups. She was eating fine. She was growing great. She still is. She's very healthy, quite tall. She's doing wonderfully. She's about 16 months old right now. And so, you know, everything worked out in terms of health and nutrition, but I was just a little uncomfortable in some of those earlier months. When it became, you know, maybe 8 or 9 months, she would eat. The last schedule I really remember is like 4 times a day. She would eat when she woke up. She would eat before each of her naps when she was taking 2. And she would eat before bed. And that was our really tight schedule for a while. And it worked perfectly. And she would eat, you know, at this point she's eating both sides. Also she's eating food, so she's not nursing as much. But that schedule lasted for a while and it was great. And then I kind of started getting signs that she was ready to wean, even though it was pretty early. I wasn't sure if I wanted to wean her or when, or I'm not say if, but I knew I would one day, but I didn't know when, and I didn't have a goal in mind. Besides 12 months, whatever happened after that. But when she was 11 months, Brian and I conceived. So I am currently pregnant right now. And that's kind of what changed things. I started to think in terms of this new baby, the baby that's in me still. I probably wasn't eating as good as I should have been for this baby. Currently, just a few months ago, I wasn't eating as well as I should have been. And I started to feel really guilty about this baby, thinking, you know, they're kind of close in age. Did my body recover fully? Am I giving this baby as much as I gave Olivia? You know, I want this baby to be healthy and strong. So I was feeling like the pull between the 2 kids already. And I was also feeling a little discomfort, not too much, but by Olivia's first birthday, we were able to wean her off of her 2 nap feedings. And those were so easy because she's awake in the day and I could give her cow's milk or just food and water, and she did not blink an eye. It was like one day we did, the next day and forever on we didn't, and it was super easy, and I'm so grateful for that. So then that just left morning and bed. So when she woke up and when she went to bed. When she woke up, that one was a little trickier. Again, I'll remind you that coming soon I'll have a video on sleep training. Her morning feed wasn't when she woke up. It was when she woke up, but it wasn't when she was supposed to be waking up, I should say. It was probably like around 5 in the morning, and now I've learned that her normal wake up time is about 8:30. So she would wake up, I would nurse her, I'm thinking, here we go, my early riser, 5 a.m., let's start our day. And she would always fall back asleep. So it was like this little bonus that she wanted. That one I was nervous to wean her off of, but once we got her sleeping schedule pretty set, I'm kind of going back in time here and there because I think she was sleeping really good by 11 months. But anyway, maybe that was one of the first ones yes, that was probably the first one I did. So I weaned the very early morning one. And again, my weaning process is cold turkey. And I don't mean to be that kind of mom, like, we're done. But I just didn't have it in me to like bring a watch and cut back 1 minute and cut back 2 minutes. And then, okay, like it's just simplify for me, just need to simplify. And so I just tried to not do it, and it worked each time. So I weaned her very easily off that early morning feed. The nap times were great, no problem. Then the bedtime, and that I think I had more anxiety than necessary about. I think I let myself. I love YouTube and I love watching mommy videos, and I think I maybe watched too many, anticipating different things. I'm gonna have to make a yogurt drink, I'm gonna have to do this. Just take a breath, ladies. You know your baby, you know you. Do what feels natural first. Do what comes simply and easily, and then we can tweak and add and do this. But don't jump to these huge routines if they're not needed. We don't know if they're needed. You don't know yet. So I didn't know what was needed, so I thought, I'm gonna do what I did for the first 3 feedings. I'm just going to stop. And every night for about a month, I told myself I was just going to stop, and I didn't, because I felt guilty. I felt really sad. She loved it. It was our cute little time. I'll show you her room some point. There's a nursing rocking chair, and we turn the light off, and there's her night light, and it was just such a ritual that I enjoyed. Coming from the hell of the burning nipples in the beginning week, I really enjoyed this bedtime routine, and I was sad to see it go. I would cry, and I kind of like took in every feeding thinking, this is the last one, this is the last one, is this the last one? And I couldn't do it. And it's sad. If I let myself think about it too much, I will become emotional, because it was such a bond and it's such a great experience. I don't regret being done. I'm glad where we are now, but it was a little sad to do. So what finally did it was Thanksgiving, because we had that date on the calendar that we were going to be with family, and we knew we'd be back after her bedtime, post bedtime. So she would go from the car straight to her bed, and that gave me the perfect opportunity to begin the no milk. And that's exactly what we did Thanksgiving, and it worked. It stuck. She maybe twice the next night, she did her little sign language and pointed at the rocking chair, and that about broke my heart. She did that the very next night. Weeks, maybe even months go by, and she kind of did it again. I'm thinking, do you remember? I remember. It was so sweet. But stuck true to my guns, never went back. Stuck true to my guns. You're gonna hear a lot of weird things out of my mouth sometimes. I just make up little cliches. Idioms? Let's move on. So anyway, that's my breastfeeding journey from day 1 to done. It was beautiful, it was painful, it was a little awkward and clumsy, and then it was kind of like beautiful again. I do plan to do it again. Of course I would do it again. I had a little pain in the beginning, but I am 24 weeks pregnant, so I'll be having another baby here in May, and I feel like this time I know what's a good feeling and what's a bad feeling. So I feel those bad feelings, that tugging in the wrong way, start to get dried out skin early on. I feel like I can handle it this time. We will see. But I mean, that's it in a nutshell. My weaning process was stop. That was it, just stop. And if it didn't work, I probably would have cut down the amount of time. That would have been the next easiest step for me, I believe. I did try to bring a milk cup in the room with us one night, just in case, but that was like, she drinks from a straw and like, wasn't really cuddly, like it just didn't work. So I had some backup plans kind of in mind, but I didn't put too much effort into that. So my advice to you is, again, do what comes naturally, do what comes simply. If nothing comes natural to you, it's all new. Just do something simple and easy. Think of like the best case scenario and try for that. And if it doesn't work, then we can introduce some different routines and substitutions and this and that. But I hope that was helpful in some way. It was nice to get that story out there. If you'd like more details on anything mentioned about the creams I use, the schedules, because I do keep her to a schedule, and I still do, or even pregnancy updates, let me know in the comments below. Have a great day, and it was good talking with you.